Shampa. I've scored 644 in the NEET UG 2024 examination, and in this video we'll be discussing about what is the strategy to score the perfect marks in physics for NEET examination. Now firstly, starting off that, you must pay attention to your class notes and lectures. That is, attend your lectures seriously and take the notes then and then. Do not delay the process of note making. You should do it right with the live classes, and the notes should be in an organized manner, at least so that you can understand it and not in a very messy way around. Furthermore, in your notes, form cases. You must know the different applications of each formula, and you must know the derivations of each formula which is there. For example, in the chapter of NLM, we have different cases like, the banking of road, the case of a cyclist, or maybe of a death throater, maybe the case of a pendulum. These are the different cases. Write those down separately. And for the formula, definitely know the derivations, which brings me to the next point, that is how to deal with the formulas. 2 points. Firstly, learn the derivations. You should know how to derive. Practice the derivations. Like in the initial days of preparation, we all know that derivations are not going to directly come in your NEET examination. It's going to be MCQ based. But once you know the derivation, basically you know how that formula came into being. So any other sum which requires a modification of that formula and not utilization of that formula directly can be derived from you then and then in the examination, and you won't struggle much with it. Right? And in the worst case scenario, maybe when you are being doubtful about any formula, then take a little time out and leave those kind of sums. And later on, when you are done with the lot part, then get back to that sum and derive the formula shortly, so that you at least can assure yourself that, okay, I have used the correct formula. Now, the second point of dealing with formulas is about making a formula booklet or making a formula sheet. Now, this is very important because I don't think anyone has the potential to pass this examination without having a formula sheet. All the formulas are scattered over here and there in your physics, but you are just combining those together at one place, and right after the completion of your chapter, go with it. Every single chapter and every single formula of every single chapter must be there in your formula sheet. I cannot explain how important it is. Like, whenever I would read or go through the chapter, firstly I used to think that why to make a different formula sheet? I already have my class notes made properly. And for the class notes, I want to say one thing: every word getting out of the teacher should be written down. Yes, it may not be bio, it may not be chem, but still every single word matters. And write down the full questions and then write down the answers or how to solve that answer as well. Or else you cannot go far in physics. If you think you are going to take the short way out, there is no short way out to do physics. Rather not to do anything. Then get into PYQs. It's very important to have your PYQs done. And particularly for physics, because we already know how many PYQs actually do get repeated in physics repeatedly. Like year after year, like this trend is very common. And it's not just for that. You will be exposed to at least 50 different kinds of sum types just after doing the PYQs. Because PYQs ensure that you have like a wide exposure to different kinds of sums. You're going to learn a lot out of PYQs. Do not leave a single PYQ out. And there is a technique in which you do PYQs, right? Like when you will be, covering up a chapter, then sit with the then sit with the PYQs, do every single PYQ and those MCQs of the PYQs in which maybe you are stuck or which you got wrong. Firstly, solve those yourselves, because you've already done the chapter, right? You already have the idea, you have grabbed the concepts, made the formula sheet, you have gone through the formula sheet. That is when you sit with the PYQ. So first, solve those yourselves. Now, even after that, when you feel stuck or when you get wrong any PYQ, circle those out. Because whenever you are going to come to the PYQ book again and again to revise, which you have to, at that point of time, you can sort those out easily. And you can do those sums repeatedly, practice those sums repeatedly. Then the next point, physics NCRT. It's underrated, we all know. So, like when I mention the word underrated, basically I signify its importance. You will regret it if you don't work on it, because nowadays the standard is being raised, and I have seen that the number of theory questions from physics are indeed increasing. But it's not a plus point, because physics NCRT is the one which is left behind by most of you guys. So even if you think that, oh, those theories, if it's like a question from theory, I can easily do it, it's the wrong opinion. Because even to cram those theory things, those are not like, standard 2 theory questions, alright. You need to go through the physics NCRT. You need to read the physics NCRT theory just the way you do it your bio. There are potential assertion-based questions here and there. There are potential statement-based questions here and there. Circle those, mark with a pen, write down A/R whenever you feel that it's a potential assertion reasoning question from physics. And it's not just the theory from physics NCRT. The questions, especially when I get to the in-text questions of NCRT and also the exercises. Now, our classes used to be taken by MR sir, so he basically used to do most of the exercise part of the physics NCRT. I just had to go through the in-text questions sometimes. And those in-text questions are also different here. So you need to do those as well. Take everything seriously. Points to ponder section is important for physics. Repeatedly, a lot of PYQs are also derived from this points to ponder part. Now getting to the revision strategy for physics. So once you are done with the chapter, you have like totally taken the notes, attended the lectures, organized your notes properly, you have done the formula sheet, you have gone through the PYQs, you have solved every PYQ, then you have also done the DPPs of your coaching institute, you have gone through the physics NCERT as well. This is the time when maybe you are up for the second reading of the chapter. You are going to go through the same chapter the second time, maybe because there is an upcoming test. Firstly, start off with your notes. Firstly, open the notes copy. You have written everything, right? So reabsorb all the concepts from it. Then go to the formula book and revise all the formulas. Formulas should be at the tip of your nails, okay? Tip of your fingers. Because we're getting 45 questions which you need to solve and 50 questions which you need to go through. 5 extra questions. You won't leave those 5 extra questions because in the later part of the section B, you go through all the questions, right? So you spend time to it. There's a lot of time management things which are going on over here. You need to know how to manage time, not just throughout your journey, but also when you are writing your paper. So formulas have their importance over here. The more you are thorough with the formulas, the quicker you get through your physics part. I know you guys will be starting off with your bio part, but towards the end, make sure that at least there are gonna be maximum of the sums in physics, okay, which be based on the formulas. Yes, and still people miss it out because they do not cram the formula book properly. Even I was one of them. I guess I missed out one sum at least or two, but even that 1 or 2 sums carried 8 marks, and you know how important 8 marks are. It may appear just, oh, I just missed 2 questions because of that, but that is one important thing. I still remember it was from the chapter of magnetism and matter. That's why I say the formula sheet should be like stress on the formula sheet a lot. And I've also mentioned it before that formula sheet and the examples chart of biology are something which you need to go through every day in an alternative basis. Okay, today if you think that you are going to go through the formula sheet of physics, go through the formula sheet of physics. For all the chapters which you have done previously, yes, all of them. If you are taking 1 hour, if you are taking 2 hours, but you cannot skip that process. And then maybe the next day you can think about going through the examples chart of biology. And then again, the next day, start with the physics. So like in this way, alternatively, every day after waking up, make your brain go through everything. Like remind yourself of all the formulas, remind yourself of all these examples. You should always firstly target towards getting the fruit which is, hanging low. This is the fruit hanging low. Hitting the sums which have got the formulas correct here, like which you can solve with the formulas easily. What is actually the concept of a difficult paper? Like if there is this thing that the physics paper was difficult, it only becomes difficult when you have like about 5 or 6 sums or maximum 8 sums which are difficult, in the difficult range. So can you think about out of 45, just 8 has to be difficult, and the remaining part has to be those formula hitting ones. But I don't think like it will be that much difficult, because even among the 8 difficult, if you have practiced PYQs, if you have practiced your DPPs and given test after test, you can at least manage 3 out of those 8 difficult questions. So you are being left with just 5 difficult questions, which you can leave. It's not going to cause like, it's not going to be big of a headache if it's really that much difficult. And additionally, always have an MCQ worksheet for you guys to work on. So during your revision, when you will be thorough with your formula sheet, the next step is you need to solve that MCQ worksheet. Now that MCQ worksheet can be any worksheet from your coaching institute, or it can be any book you follow, like I used to follow DC Pandey, many follow HC Verma. Now let me tell you something, this MCQ source of practice should be one. Yes, only one. And this one source has to be practiced repeatedly. Now let me tell you guys one thing. Do not directly hit for the IIT level, but the JEE mains level must be cracked by now. JEE main PYQs should also be gone through, because the levels of NEET is rising, but the competition is rising even more, right? So that's all. And I think there will be very less questions. I don't think that really a student who has diligently done all these things, and with the physics NCRT as well, I don't think that the physics cramming part would be that difficult. But you need to be that much confident, and for the confidence comes the tests. Repeatedly test after test. Okay, if you guys are still maybe barely scoring above 100 or barely scoring above 120, but don't sit back and give up. Just keep giving the tests one after the other, because that you can always uplift yourself. But don't be also a passive test giver. Don't be like this, that I have the mentality of giving test after test, so even if I fail at one test, or even if I fail to get that desired marks in my test, I would just simply study that same way, and I won't give it a second thought that what made me score less. You guys need to focus a lot on why. That is, why did I score less? What went wrong? That is what is going to get you to your desired marks. And I have an entire video on test analysis made, where I talk about how you can get the maximum and optimum utilization out of your tests, and how to realize what went wrong. Did you not go through the physics notes of your class teacher, or did you miss out on the physics NCRT theory, or was it that you didn't practice enough worksheets, so you didn't have an accuracy or like a good speed, or were you missing out on remembering the formula? So what exactly is the mistake? And let me tell you, I'm very sure that the mistake is gonna lie in between those points, somewhere or the other. Cannot be anything more than this, because NEET is based on a particular curriculum. It's limited by a syllabus. It's not any professional exam. But within that syllabus, whatever is there, you need to focus on every part, and you need to excel at every point. You cannot say that just because I excel in all the PYQs and I have made formula sheets, I won't do physics theory. Every part needs to be done properly. Only then in this competitive world can you really make a stand. And also during revision, make sure that you do your PYQs. That is, whenever you are getting on to revise, first go through the class notes and reabsorb all the concepts, then go through the formula sheets and read, because your class notes can also include the formulas, but formula sheet is gonna have all the formulas together at one point of time. Just kind of go for ratta. If you keep on solving MCQs after MCQs, formulas would already appear to you. But still, there is a particular way that when you read through the formulas, then it should be in a way that it gets to you. And also then take a blank piece of paper, start writing the formulas yourself without seeing it. Recall the formulas. You should have this ability to write down the formulas anywhere accurately on a piece of paper at any given point of time. Can you be that accurate? Can you be that good? Only then you can get into this world. And then after you're done with the formulas, go for the PYQs. So whatever now PYQs you had circled before, go through those, or whatever PYQs maybe you feel like practicing, again go through those. Then go for that MCQ worksheet, that is the source of MCQ which you practice every time. Do whatever it takes to score good. Long gone are the days when you can just focus on bio and chemistry and pay little attention to physics, because this time you cannot go away with that. So if you're feeling that you are still lingering around 100 marks out of 180 in physics, do whatever it takes to get above 150, okay, for your mock test, because I think for your the actual examination, that 150 should be uplifted to 160 to 170 marks. That too taking into consideration that you are going to do better in biology and chemistry. So maybe your lecture is done, take a white piece of paper, whatever you have learned in the lecture, write those down without seeing your notes copy. Work on your memory. Do everything it takes. Give a reading to physics NCRT every Sunday. But if you think you do not have a good memory retention, or you're forgetting things, then every day before sleeping give at least 30 minutes to physics NCRT reading. Physics NCRT reading is not in a way that you do biology reading. It's not an extensive thing, but you should be going through every point at least twice or thrice throughout your journey, so that it gets over here. And in the exam paper, whenever you get a statement based questions or any questions out of there, you can at least get reminded that okay, I have done this, so I'm confident I can go through it. I can solve this sum. Alright. So that's all for this video. So see you in the next video, and tell me what you would like to know more about any strategies so that I can help you guys out. Thank you.